Okay. I don't know. Let's see. That'll do. That'll really do. Okay. Um, I guess I wanted to kind of get started today really talking about what love is. And I'm just feeling really compelled to really speak on like what it feels like and the truth about love being vibrational and it not being that when we attune to that frequency of unconditional love within ourselves, like we don't feel a desire to do or become or exert. We just are in that space. And I'm finding that as I'm rapidly growing and ascending through just so much at this moment, and realizing like what taking a second for myself really could look like, to really understand the appropriate actions that are transpiring. I just feel like it's so important for me to know right now like what love has really felt like. And there's no doubt right now, like I keep hearing like bottomless like that's kind of the influence right now, like garbage disposal. I've been kind of getting that energy right now, like we're suspended over what is like a blender energetically. And so those of us who give up, so to speak, who continually like descend and let that vibration stay down for so long, like, well, now it's kind of like the next level where the boss is like, now you're not just like getting through the labyrinth, but you're also like being chased by like a chompy, like Pac-Man, you know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm seeing when like the ghosts get introduced, right? Like where the boundaries you've set for yourself that exist in the same space that you're always in, yeah, there's supposed to be something about that. Like there's this allegorical understanding that like within Pac-Man, because the labyrinth or the maze or the layout is the same, that's how you are supposed to be able to progressively get better at grabbing all the available like dots that translate to like fuel, right? And so I think there's something about like after a while you should pretty much start to understand the blueprint of your karmic labyrinth, you know. You should kind of understand what you should be able to feel your way around. And when I say feel your way around, I just mean like right now you should be able to get into any situation and feel where you are, feel what you take and what you leave, feel what's brought up in you, feel whether it's reactive or responsive, you know what I mean? And I guess that's just kind of the energy right now, and it doesn't really matter like where I'm flowing to, because I feel like it's being led to the shore. But now I'm just hearing like a humble victory acceptance, or like it's some sort of like, let this just be the conversation, the like that I have before it all changes. And I think again like why it was so important for this to just be like this span of days. I think it's funny that I feel very called to, I think the Gemini influence right now that's really allowing Gemini to like finish through the threshold of expression, to like meet you at the airwaves, you get me? Like I think that opportunity is very here right now, which is just also in a greater alignment with like the rewards or the harvest season of like a bigger closed out cycle. So it does really feel like all systems are sort of a go. It does really feel like effortless, like resolution. You know, like that's a really yummy kind of space to be in. But those are kind of the off the dome feelings. And yeah, you can just tell that I've gotten some sleep and some sun and that like, yeah, like that all is really well. Or that I got a new toothpaste, you know what I mean? Like it's just, and yeah, like I don't know, there's this energy of like I didn't know that I was missing, that I wasn't smiling, or that I wasn't, that I really did have this shame feeling that you could almost feel, like it feels like a mold that you used to keep your face in, that I used to always be in. And I was like, wow, I'm recognizing that I was really truly like choosing an expression. And it's not about that expression being good or bad, but it's just that that's like that to be in that face is a choice because it's not my natural face. And that's also the blessing of this moment. Sorry for all the shaking, I'm like going to bed, but like that's kind of the blessing of this moment is that like that was all just a choice. So in a positive way, it's not who you are, which is great. Like I feel like right now there's this overwhelming sense of like loss, sort of that, like I said, those like when the shadow ghosts come and start actually chasing Pac-Man. Now you have to move with purpose, intention. Like this is intuitive connection. This is like you and source are going to get you through this maze because there's a part of you that has to really be in connection with like the psychicness of like knowing what turn things are going to make. And you can do that. And people who are really good at Pac-Man probably have that ability to develop some sort of deeply interactive, connective space with their source if they were choosing to do that. Like I just feel like that energy would be available if you could understand like what kind of brain functions you'd need to be able to partner up with like your divine feminine, divine masculine in order to like win that game, right? Or collect all of the information that you need to collect is what I really more so like to think about. It's not much of a winning thing, but it's like you want to grab everything that's there. And that's when you know you're done. That's kind of what I hear. Is like when you grabbed everything that's there, that's when you know you're actually done. And I really feel that right now because I feel, I just feel like the greater timing of everything. And like as much as I freaked out along the way, like as I'm sitting here still riding in on the same wave that we predicted, that we knew, that we've always known it was going to be, and these contacted fated connections are coming in exactly on time as we knew that their cycles independently would realistically align. Like as we're standing here and we know this, it feels like I really truly do have the understanding that I need now to know that there can be a certain amount of like release and surrender in my daily breath that can wash me to a calming shore regardless, you know what I mean? And I'm just excited for that new space, really, really excited for that new space because it's just gonna feel like so much more of a breath of fresh air. And so in regards to how this really all relates to what I feel like love feels like, I think that that's what you'll know, love is embracing what is, right? And like that's what love is doing. It is embracing what is. And so I feel like when we really start to look like it's gonna get really like dogmatic, like it's gonna be very in your face, like these programs, and when I say like programming, it's like programming. It's like you're gonna really start seeing how like these really like dense archetypes and stories, it's like the same handful of archetypes that are just being recycled on loop. Like you'll start seeing like movies or certain stories about people or certain events in history that you'll see just copycats everywhere. Like everything will start to feel like, what? Like, wow, like your whole personality is actually based off of this like one minute. Like we're gonna see how limited we were living, like how tight, like in the cage, like we were, like it was not, we weren't situated in any sort of way that would garner like a smooth and steady transition to like no confinement, like existence without such restriction. Because what we thought we were experiencing in like 2020, right, which was seemingly like, oh my god, we're like, we almost felt like we were getting thrown back in time, like we can't innovate, we can't go forward, when actually that was actually the gateway to the total innovation. Like innovation isn't about linear technological advancement. Innovation is like outgrowing the solid, outgrowing the density, like expanding, becoming lighter, expanding out. It's like pushing out as far away as each of these molecules can get until you explode into a bigger space. And I just feel like, oh, you thought Age of the Aquarian was gonna be like continuing on this like hyper consumptive, like earth killing spree. No, like that's not that wasn't about to play out. And it's not even in a like fear-based way, but it's like we're not doing that. What we're really doing is we're innovating like out of a consciousness, out of a paradigm. We're moving dimensions, but not in a linear forward direction like you think. It is everything expanding. It is, mass, like, it disperse is what I hear, like, is the name of the game this decade, is like being dispersed, like being able to like being able to allow your seeds, like if you can really get a hold of some bigger land, you could grow these crops in abundance. If you even had a big, it's like that level of surety. Like the dispersion is really like the gift at this time, and that's how we should always be oriented in the greater framework of like cycles and life and movement and birth and creation and death. Like in those cycles, like I feel like there should always be this understanding that, like, there's this place that I can go, like this core, I don't know. And that's just so crazy, because I feel like what that download was just went and segmented into a different space. But that's what I mean. Like, it's so important to know that, like, we can have mastery in this space, but we are to keep going, and we are to continue to complete the bigger framework. So if you feel like you've mastered something, like, we're going on to higher consciousness, we're navigating more, we're really looking at what it really means to innovate, which really means to like change the way we do, like not just continue to make iterations of the same thing, but then change, like, okay, but so now that we've tried life without the technology and life with the most extreme technology, and we've seen what that balance can and cannot incite, then we ask ourselves, we ask the moral question. We still have to refer to source. Once you've tried the duality, once you've tried this or that, apples or oranges, you're still gonna have to go back to source, right? It kind of goes back to like a sort of like protozoic, like Adam and Eve nucleus story, right? Where it's like, it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, like, you ate an apple, you ate an orange, but the point of that tale, that story, and it being passed down, is that, like, at the end of the day, though, all we have is our relationship to ourselves and mirrors of that. And so what does it cost? Like, when we're first introduced to things like selfishness, or certain densities like violence, or lack of self-love, right? Or lack of love. Like, you can't really lack love, but you can lack like self-love, right? Like, you can not really be recognizing how that is really the only thing that God is asking of you to do in this lifetime. Like, some people just need to know that they're worth it, or that their story, exactly as it is for their highest good, and that their only goal right now is to just take care of themselves and to treat themselves like they are worth it, and like what is the best thing that could happen for your life, you know what I mean? Like, no matter what kind of person, like, if you ask people what is the best timeline for you, I'm just feeling like that's what the energy is gonna bring out. And for some of us, it's we're expecting a battle, is what I'm hearing Spirit say, and it's actually going to be a love fest. Like, I don't know what's up with that. Like, you see that I've got this pink lighting has to be kind of really highlighted right now, because that's the energy that we're like giving off. And again, so sorry about the shaking, but I feel like it's kind of the experience right now. Like, we just need to know that we're expecting the divine to have to combat like the darkness right now with some sort of combat, and it's actually just like how much more love is still there. Like, it shows power by engulfing you in a wave of love. Like, here's you and the hill you're gonna die on, and then the tsunami of love overcomes you, and you're humbled because you're like, it's like thick linoleum paint or something. It's like thick and oily based paint, like, all around you. Like, if you were able to like breathe and swim, like, and you were like swimming through that frequency, that's what love is like. And you're just like drenched in it, and it's love, though. It's like the highest frequency. It's like the thing that keeps all of this really going. And it's just because it is the vibration that really observes as is, and encourages and accepts what is. And that to me is love. And I feel like that's why right now, like, as some of these certain things are really just dropping off, like, there's that, like I said, that blender energy, like, things, like, you've got to keep moving, because there's a little like blender at the bottom. Like, you can't just let your vibration just kind of float. you know, down and to like get blended up. Like that's not what we want right now. Like, you know, and it's not scary. Like, you know, it's like it's a composite decision that ultimately you arrive at. Like you only get ground up if you tell spirit you're ready to be ground up. So otherwise you're not getting ground up. So just like take accountability for where we're at, and like let's be in that, in the light of that, you know what I mean? Because regardless of where you are or who you are or what's going on, like you know the highest timeline for you, like without the pain, without the trauma, without the being on the run, without the chasing, right? Like without all of that, like what would you be doing? And I think that that's getting so clear, like crystalline clear, for everybody, and it's actually probably a lot more similar than most people, right? Like so that's kind of the collective experience that we're really garnering right now. But I also feel like, yeah, like it was just important to really open this conversation up with a discussion, like a love understanding and a love forecast of like where we're actually at, because yeah, we're actually somewhere, you know? So I think that that's really, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like that's really what the vibes are. I'm feeling like I want to do a little, I want to get since we're talking about love and color, it's funny, the bottom of the deck, as we were talking about pink. Oh my fucking gosh, what does that say? Let love in. The pink, bro, it's people think I'm really playing and I'm not. No, there are no people, I'm just being ridiculous, but I'm not playing, bro. That was really like in real lifetime. Open that deck, and that's where we're at today. So it's amazing, you know. It's amazing. Yeah, we're gonna let the love in. Like you're just gonna be silenced by how much more love they had to give you. Just needed to say that. You're going to be so silenced by the amount of love that this actually had to give you back through it all, because that's everybody. There's no like, well, if you were doing anything then you're gonna be surprised. No, every single person, everybody's outcome is going to be, are you kidding me? Okay. You see me sitting over here freaking, because I know I'm gonna watch this back and I'm gonna have my thing come in. I'm like, oh, that's what I was even saying, bro. And at this time where we were like really strengthening our bodies with this 5-14, reducing down to a 5, this bronze energy, there was this like strengthening that was happening, because I feel also kind of like you want to feel strong. Like I want to feel strong in myself when I'm like taking my victory lap, because if you're taking a victory lap, you're probably like strong to some capacity. So it's like, as we're letting this love in, it's coming after a time of like getting like bronzed, you know, like just like trophy, like, you know what I mean? And because you are the prize, like you've like your strength, like, hey, we're love, can we come in? Well, you know what I mean? It's like a 6-pack. Like, you're the person with the 6-pack. Like, don't be surprised. Like, you're gonna be blown away by how much more love they still intend to give you. That's a great outcome for everybody. Like, that's like announcement. Like, really, it's great for everybody. Do you see what I mean? Bottom of the deck, the card that flipped out twice, bottom of the deck, and then I shuffled for like 45 seconds, and then I don't know. Whatever. So that's the vibe right now. This pink, bro, said, you heard it here first. Let love in. Because that's the wave right now. That's really the wave. Card number 4. Pink is the energy of unconditional love. Oh my God. Opening your heart and helping to heal heart problems. It assists with releasing emotional challenges and brings tranquility. Why did I not just open this up and be like, got the pink light in for this vid, because we're trying to tap into the unconditional love frequency. It's like not a joke. You know what I mean? Pink also helps with insomnia and the manifestation of dreams. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, if I did I not just get on here like a week ago and be like, I'm going to really document because I think something's about to come in for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and document this now because it's coming in. So that I can just have this process and I can renew my own faith in the divine. Like, maybe we can use our advancements. This is like what I mean by innovate, like using your advancements to actually do something with your time, which is no production. Like, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to get anywhere with this. I'm just like, this would be really valuable to me, and I feel like I matter to myself, and I feel like my understanding of what's going on matters relative to the fact that I'm just here right now perceiving this at some degree in some consciousness. So for that sake, I'm not saying it has some higher good, but I'm saying that for anybody else that would feel like, wow, yeah, that is deeply intimate to the way that I want to be building a relationship. Like, I'm trying to normalize what a working relationship with God looks like. Oh, and I'm not even trying to sound like an officer like that. Like, I'm really not, like, this is off the book. Like, this is just how much I'm communicating with myself at this time. And it's no different, right? But it's shifting the perspective, because we see how much we watch like vlog culture, right? So we've normalized the like talking to your spirit to technology, right? Or as we said, Apple people, right? To audience, right? It doesn't matter, but what we haven't normalized is that, like, perhaps this level of perception and communication was meant because there's a relationship that would require, like, just, like, feels natural. Like, it feels natural for me to be in this space. Like, I don't really care. I mean, I do really care. I really care about this space. I do not really have the space for anything or anyone that would say that this was anything other than, yeah, just, like, maintenance that really does need to happen, and that needs to be real, and that doesn't need to be focused all the time on, it's not about like even how I'm showing up particularly, or my performance, or where I'm at spiritually. Like, this is just about a space where I can go and just say it's about the relationship. It's the place where I believe like real relationships exist, like real strong bonds exist. You see what I mean? There's this energy right now where there's these strong bonds that are resisting each other. And for what? Like, that's what I feel like is switching right now. And with the letting love in, like, some of y'all who were like, nah, I'm not, I don't know what I'm hearing. I'm like, I'm like, psh, psh. No, when hell freezes over, well, hell is frozen over several times. It's time to let the love in, tulips. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of is just what it is. And I feel, I don't know, like, I just feel like that's kind of the point of this whole space right now. And that's the whole point of this journey. And I just hope that, like, the philosophy will never need to be rewritten. Like, you could just watch this, and through the thread that is connecting these, like, fragments of, like, this process, or these moments when I feel compelled to really, like, share what's being deposited, right, in my mind. It's like, and in my spirit, it's like, oh yeah, like, just, I don't know, but I'm telling you, like, we're all letting love in, and that's gonna just change everything for everyone. Like, imagine every single one of us, like, collectively, like, okay, let it in, like, let in the love, let it in, right? And as soon as you let that into your heart space, bro, I see, we light the world up. Like, it's like a pink glow. Like, I'm seeing this just, like, really pink glow coming. Now I'm hearing, like, April 19th. I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's Easter. I don't know what the vibes are, but I'm feeling that sort of glow. So it assists with releasing emotional challenges and brings tranquility. Pink also helps with insomnia and the manifestation of dreams. Yeah? Open your heart with delicate pink colors. Dennis is typing, sorry. Anyways. Love. Become aware of any tension in your body. Take in a deep breath. and allow your body to soften. Focus on letting go of any hardness or density. Close your eyes and imagine you are holding the most beautiful pink flower. Breathe in its sweet scent, inviting its beauty and the delicateness to open your heart. Then imagine pink light from the flower. Look at that. There's the pink light from the flower. Flowing into your heart and filling it up with unconditional love. Look at that. We're just pouring that in. Now think of someone you love and allow the love you feel to pour from your heart into theirs. Savor that feeling of love and connectedness. Say, divine love, pour your healing light into my heart, softening it, purifying it, and rejuvenating it so that it is shiny, loving, and full of enthusiasm. That's all 2555. That was really what it took. Like, the throat chakra is powerful. I think that what I also feel really coming in the future is that I'm always gonna, like, regardless of if it makes you like seem like someone with a big head, like who just like loves, but like I have an overactive third eye and an overactive throat chakra. Like that's like murder she wrote, you know what I mean? Like it's just, it kind of is what it is for me. But I also really think that a lot of people really don't realize like what the windpipes in your vocal cords, like that velocity of wind and pipe creating your voice. I don't know. I don't know how you don't feel like your throat chakra is like easily probably the most like viscerally magic. It's like the spoken part of the reality. It's like how you, it's like wind bending, like, you know what I mean? That's why vocalists like are like airbenders, right? Like they like bend air and can make divine harmony and sound. Like I don't know, it's like it's a lot, but whatever. I totally just like there goes that train of thought. But that's what I mean. Like I really feel like when we think about the throat chakra, when we think about sharing in this way, or just like being held by, as we like to call, content, which I don't really understand. I don't even know what that means. Like content just sounds like a, I don't know. But when it just comes to like sharing art, you know what I mean? Like real art, which is just that it like there's something transformative about it. I feel like a lot of times you can look at some really like technically mind-blowing pieces or creations from other people or things or spaces or nothing at all, or just within divinity, but then a lot of times we don't recognize that there is an inherent opting in to the art space, and I think a lot of times like what we leave as a contribution to the earth, which I think is what a lot of artists would just say they have in common, is that they feel like there's something they're I think they understand the idea of service because they feel so compelled. Like it's so obvious in this world, like you could make your art and be amazing, or you could not at all. We could not know who any of these people are, or we could know everything about them. It really doesn't matter. It is neither here nor there. But it's more so than what is the artist. The artist is just the person that knows that they have to offer something to be here. You know, that your residency, it's not just offerings to people, it's like offerings to the divine. Like artists, their connection with whatever source is telling them they need to be doing whatever art it is that they're making, because there's nothing, what would make you do that, right? We're whole conscious beings. So like if you're getting up and you're like doing a certain practice or discipline, like I don't care what it is or how, whatever it is. And this is like, you'd have to have done a lot of, again, to get to this level of evaluation, like there's a lot of work that is, like, I'm also not mentioning how much work you'd have to get to really be able to decode this like light of a frequency. But I mean, for those of you who really have done that work, like you really know, like you know all about that. You're all up in that Kool-Aid of feeling like, no, I have to really do this. Why do you really have to do this? And not in why, like, why do you have to do this? No, I mean, like, why? So what is that, you know? What is that sequence of changes that makes you continue to do something, that makes you continue to work towards something in that way? or contribute in that way. So I think that like level of service is something that I feel like a lot of this collective that would resonate is really going to feel, and it's going to really prioritize like probably within your own personal mission. So that's all really cool. And yeah, we're going to just take a little water because we're 29 minutes in and we're still talking. So crazy. I mean, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, let love in. Say la vie. Wow, Dennis just sent me 1111. Yeah, wow. So now I kind of want to just go into this angel deck that I got that's like super interesting that I really don't like. I don't know. It's just really interesting because I feel like I get impressions from it in a lot of different ways. So, but there are 3 stacks here. One that is angelic connections. One that has angels in action. And one that has angelic guidance. So they're already shuffled, so I'm just going to reveal them. So the angelic connections that we're making right now, right? Our deeds fashion our destiny. What? Okay. Our deeds fashion our destiny? Are you kidding me? That's what I'm talking about. Like, so here we all are at the destiny of the cycle, like the new year, right? You're getting all your new wands, you're getting you're getting your re-up, you're getting your new fresh supplies. You know what I mean? It's like back to school shopping. Heaven and hell are in our own hands, okay? They're in your hands because you know what handful of experiences can make you feel like hell, and you know what handful of experiences can make you feel like heaven on earth. There's no question. So then what deeds are you going to be imparting on? Like what are we really doing, you know? What are you choosing to do? And I think that's it's getting that simplified, that's where that divine patience and temperance, like temperance is like, all right, I'm good, you know, I'm heading out. So there's no more waiting on you. Like the divine is like, how you're showing up is how you're choosing to show up. If you can't gather that by now, which you can, then you've got it right. So heaven is the divine connection to unconditional love, and hell is our fear of separation from it. Okay, Pink. Okay, when we talked about, I'm telling you the synchronicities, I just put this pink light bulb in here. Bro, it's like, of all the things that made it out of my house that just got like swallowed up, this pink light bulb is one thing that I just like threw in my purse, and then I was like, oh, let me like I was gonna need this pink light bulb. It's so random. This light bulb, and the lamp that this light bulb was in, it broke. My mom broke it while we were moving. It was like, wow. And it was a pink lamp. Ooh, it's just so much synchronicity. Anyways, so again, let me run that back. Heaven is the divine connection to unconditional love. Hello. It is in your face. It is in your face. What feels like unconditional, like the spaces where that unconditional love is available to you, that is the road to heaven. Okay? Right? And hell is our fear of separation from it. We are in hell right now because we feel like we have like a biblical sense might tell you have sinned in a way that you would get, like, people aren't mad about sinning. People are scared because they know that they sin, and therefore they're afraid of how that's going to separate them from their overall source. Not so much about the sin itself. And so hell becomes this illusion that we project, right, out into this dimensional plane of, you know, I'm actually just really scared that something I've done is going to actually like bring my worst fear, which is like losing you, right? You should probably feel this at some place in your life to some degree, where it's like someone is so terrified to lose you that their fear is doing just that, separating you from them. And this is what we talked about. The problem is we can't, this is like what I mean, like Jesus Christ is an incredible light working inspiration, right? Like it's an inspiring tale of death, rebirth, and regeneration, and faith, and what that incarnation kind of looks like. But also at the same time, right, when we when we connect with something concrete or third dimensional, instead of like what it really is, like, you know what I mean, fear can always separate you from it. So even if you find God through someone, this is what I'm talking about, like this is that sort of apocalyptic free run, which is a track that I've made with my fiance, like, but there's this track that we have that's called the apocalyptic free run, which is all about when it comes down to it, you can only run with yourself. You know what I mean? You could kind of try to run with the pack or whatever, but ultimately you're all independent agents there, right? And so there's this understanding that like you have to be able to account for you as well. And I just feel like at the end of the day, when we get more comfortable with using source's servants to get the message from source rather than being the servant of source, which is what we were created for, to serve the purpose of playing out creation for the creator, the creators, the dimensions, the all-encompassing, the void space. Like it can get that granular, it can get that, you know what I mean? But so when we talk about those kinds of things, like I think that that's kind of what we see in this energy, which is like where someone actually doesn't know how to communicate, like they are so grateful that to you for what you are, for the love you've provided, but then in that they are actually more, but the fear is stronger, and the fear is stronger because it isn't ultimately linked to source. Like even if you're linked to source and someone is linking to you to get source, see, that puts you in a role of needing to be, you're right, like I said, love just is, you're not even gonna need to be a soldier for love. Like love is like you can stand idly by in love, you know what I mean? Like being here would be enough, standing here would be enough in the love vibration. And so as we all continue to make the conscious effort to attune back into that pink energy, yeah, we're going to start to really see clearly what we mean by the hell you can experience and project for yourself when you realize that your fear of being separated from source is really what all of this stems from. We know we've done the unforgivable. So we live on in hell because we're like, we already murdered Christ consciousness, the crystalline consciousness. You know what I mean? We really annihilated that, like for shits and giggles. You know what I mean? For our own learning and development. But part of the karma of that is now coming on the other end of that and saying, we've already done the unthinkable. When is the other shoe going to drop? That's hell on earth. You see what I mean? You're more scared of like what you're going to lose than it is really about like the action being wrong, which is again what we're going to see a lightening up of as well. Like it's people, you're getting to the heart of the matter, which again, like I tell people, like 99% of the time it's like, it's so minute for me. It's such a small, like things that really like I fixate at, or times when you can really see my fixed nature when I'm really like, no, let's discuss, let's reflect, because sometimes I feel like we need to reflect in order to make sure that we're putting the best foot forward in like our decision making. And so like when I'm in that space, I feel like there's just, yeah, there's so much, I don't know, there's just so much more that we need to be offering up in any of those spaces. And so like I said, we need to make sure that above all, we realize that is how we pay the debt. That is how we clear the karma, is to become the unconditional love. Because what you're met with, right? What you were met with for diluting your pure crystalline essence, you know what I mean? Like your purest consciousness, your most connected state, you know what I mean? To all things, to unity consciousness, to the love vibration, right? Severing that for illusions, the karma for that, you clear it, because even when you were doing all of that, you were still met with broad stroke displays of unconditional love. And then you're always going to be like, okay, I always feel indebted though. I don't want to be indebted. And that's where I think religion kind of can suppress our ability to even springboard off of that understanding of source, and then activating ourselves to now be embodied little mini agents of source in the third dimension. You know what I mean? Like, like that's more about what it is. It's less of this like carbon copy, right? Carbon-based, crystalline, like everybody keeps talking about that, but like really, like it's no more carbon copied energy. It's crystalline. It's the original. It's boom, busting. It's birthing that. It's like shedding that fleshiness and really getting embodied in being the mini version of the creator, which would be to then do what? Become love incarnate, to become the unconditional love that you were met with, right? When you realize, like, I've already done the unthinkable. Like, why am I still here? Why do I still get an opportunity at each day? Okay, so now we can move from the anxiety that I feel like we put ourselves through for like I'm not even gonna say time, but for like this trinity of a cycle, like this three part like movement. But I feel like that kind of movement, like it's very like Three of Pentacles, very gear-esque. I think that we've gotten to this place where we're able to really I don't know, we're able to just really work through. This is so interesting because I feel like as this is breaking down, like it's becoming anew, like it's becoming like it's okay. Like I feel like there's just this trust that like as thoughts and consciousness break down, or things that I feel I need to make a point to share or etch out, you don't anymore. You're like, oh, erase. It's vapid. It's like genie-esque. It's like I don't really like nothing's really too finite, and I feel like that's kind of where we're headed to, right? And it says, when we think, act, and live with love, all is harmonious. Literally. When we think, act, and live in fear, then everything is surrounded by disharmony and difficulty, right? Right? So I feel like we're seeing those experiences because maybe you resonate in one space or another, or maybe in a certain space you feel like you really resonate with love, and maybe in a different you don't. You resonate more in a fear space, and it's meant for you to kind of like look at that all composite, put it all on the table, right? This sun energy, this Aries energy that's blasting is like, okay, and boom, lights on. Like it's really kind of picked up that like from Pisces season to Aries season, it's like clear, like it's come to life energy, you know what I mean? So it says, sit for a moment and breathe deeply. Imagine that you are inhaling a wonderful pink mist. Oh my God, these cards. Did you like? Okay, so these cards, these angel cards, were pre-shuffled like 2 hours ago. This, you saw me shuffle in real time. So this pink message has been sitting here before I even pulled this card. So it's giving divine preparation. Anyways, okay. A wonderful pink mist that is swirling all around you. As you inhale, breathe the pink mist into your entire body. And as you exhale, let go of all your worries and tensions. Affirm that you are totally supported by the universe. Call to Archangel Michael, thank him for his protection, and ask that all fear be removed from your thoughts, that you may live in complete harmony with all aspects of life. So thank you, Archangel Michael, for all the protection, and just remove any fear. And I know y'all saw that light. Did you just see that light? Okay, I don't know what the is going on, bro. That all fear be removed from your thoughts. And it was like that. Like Archangel Michael just said, yeah, that's what we've done. We've removed it. Like it's been removed so that you can live in complete harmony with all aspects of your life. Like I feel like I made that move today. Like today I just was like, and it's gone. And it started with yesterday. Like we had a pretty amazing like spring equinox. Like we really like came alive. We like even went and like sat in the like laid in the sun. Like it was really. Now as I'm talking, I'm thinking it's a good segue. 4340, like angels in action. Like what action did we do? You can see the love of angels reflected in the faces of sleeping children. As I literally just said, yeah, we were just laying in the sun. There is a theory that many children being born now are old souls with highly developed spiritual skills. These very special children will remind us of long forgotten healing techniques, psychic awareness, and immeasurable compassion. A beautiful story came to me recently. A young mother became very worried by her 5-year-old son's obsession with wanting to be left on his own with the new baby. She stood quietly outside the bedroom door and allowed him to put his little sister into her crib. Slightly fearful, she closed the door when he asked her to go away, but remained listening and ready to run into the bedroom. Tears rolled down her cheeks when, to her surprise, he kissed his little sister and said, "Please help me to remember what it was like. I've already forgotten." Ooh, I just had deep deja vu. Been here before. Me and Dennis were talking about this energy, this role reversal. And it was like this pass off, this connection, like the children and the elders are fine, are here, but there's this energy of role reversal. Like, you may have been you may be a young person, you may be a middle-aged person, or you may be an older person, place or thing, and it's like whatever medicine you need, like whatever the balance in your energy needed. So maybe you're needing to really reverse the role into a child energy to get the nurturing that you didn't get. Like, I'm getting this really deep download because I've been seeing it with my parents, where they're now reverting. It's safe enough for them, which it's triggering as hell right now, but it's safe. And essentially what's happening energetically is it's safe enough for my parents right now to go back into the child space, like the age they needed to be, when maybe like trauma was happening, when they needed to be parented, when they needed a parent. And for me, it's just coming across as triggering because I'm like, you're grown as hell, get up, like, why are you acting like, right? But it's really like they didn't have that safety, like, because I know I say this all the time, like, my mom's vessel has transmuted so much. Like, her birth, she was born in 1968, and her birth certificate, like, her race is listed as Negro. Like, it's not like, that's some density, like, you know what I mean, that vessel. So like, whenever I get really like on my new age, like, come on, catch that mustard, like, that soul is doing like the same amount of work that we're all expected to do whenever we've agreed on to do, but is just like, in that capacity, I can acknowledge it's a lot of like transformation and keeping up. So really holding space there. But also, it's like she's been getting this opportunity to really go back almost into her inner child, like the wounds, the places where she was like asked to be an adult, or to have had a knowledge or an experience that she didn't have and had to navigate through it anyways, and had like real consequences based on performance. And they're getting to be kids again, they're getting to need guidance again. And so then you might feel like, okay, like I'm their third dimensional daughter, but from a soul perspective, that's just kind of like, we've got this karmic contract played out. I'm really here to be an independent entity, which can also really help assist with the collective ascension if that's what needs to happen. So it's kind of like seeing that, if you're seeing that in people where it's like they might be reversing roles to something very opposite of what they've tried to project, in order to get the medicine they need. So they might call on your energy to like play a specific role. I don't know, that's just what I'm getting, you know what I mean? Because they're actually asking you, like, please help me remember what it was like. I've seemed to have already forgotten. Like, there's a big cry for help energy. And not crying like a bad, like cry like for help like a baby. Like, babies only know one currency, which is crying. They don't know language. You know, baby. I mean, that's full shit. The babies know language, but babies are not like speaking English. I don't know. Like, it's, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like that. Like, babies know how to communicate, but they don't know the gibberish and the density. Like, they're pure light bodies. Like, they just came out of the portal, the void. You know what I mean? They just came out of thin air, like thin guts, like your mom's womb space. Like, it's not, or it doesn't even have to be mother, but the maternal, your mom is in like the universe, like the mother womb. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't really have to identify with the person that physically birthed you into this like dimension, but because that could be so unique. Who am I to say? I don't know. I really don't know. You know what I mean? But I just feel that way. I feel like there's that energy, like there's this big energy that really needs to tell collective, like, hey, I know you're probably like, what the like it's kind of a triggery energy, but ultimately what that energy is trying to communicate is like, please help me to remember what it was like, because I see that you've got it, and I see that you've got a grasp of it. I see that you haven't lost it, and I feel like maybe I've lost it, and I really need to remember, because I seem to have forgotten already who the I was, who I am. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of us also are going to be witnessing this energy where it's like, yeah, you've gotten so washed up and just like doing things that are so far from you. You know what I mean? Like, there are certain situations that just been busted, that have not working out for you, and you've stayed in them, and at the end of the day, all that you're going to be left with is like, right, and you stayed here because why? Because at some point it was more important to you to be led by whatever the times are, the trends are, the things that you think you should be doing, right? Instead of the true actual angelic guidance, which is a perfect last segue. It says, any sort of pretense seems unworthy of angels. Often the decisions we make create self-imposed challenges, which are wonderful opportunities for spiritual growth. But if we do not face the challenge, not only will we miss a chance to move on, we will have to face the same challenge over and over until we do confront it. So did I not just talk about how you are being guided by everything but this angelic guidance right? And so we've created these self-imposed challenges, which really are wonderful opportunities for spiritual growth. But you do also have to face the challenge, which I think also a lot of us are like, woo, I needed a minute because that challenge I just had to face was thick. But it's more because I created it. Like, a lot of us are feeling like, yeah, like that was all me. You know what I mean? And then you'll have to do the same challenge over and over again. That's the thing that gets me. It's like, right, but you're also going to just see like energies that's like, well, this is awkward, because like, trust me, when you're ready to get off the ride, you're ready to get off the ride. You know, when you're like, all right, we don't need to go around this Ferris wheel again. We really don't. I'm nauseous. I'm going to head out, you know? Like, I just had a funnel cake, like, and a corn dog. Like, I'm off it. This is disgusting. You know what I mean? It's like that horrible feeling of like, yeah, like I don't, like, you know what I mean? And then there's someone who's like, no, I'm trying to go around again. And you're like, how do we reconcile this? Because one of us does not need to do this again, and the other's like, I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? So you're gonna have to confront it, because you'll just keep going around and around and around, and maybe one person gets their way, but then somebody grows like resentment, right? Like, when somebody's ready to get off a wheel, we've got to be perceptive as well. And we've also got to be accountable, because that's not really anybody's fault that you're ready to get off the wheel and you can't say anything. So and I just said you can't say anything, and then the card says be honest with yourself. Are you kidding? If you deceive yourself, literally, bro, this is fucking crazy. If you deceive yourself by pretending that everything is perfect, your goals become hazy. You bury your potential brilliance under layers of self-deception and illusion, and you defeat your quest for self-improvement. Angels are like, it's a no from us. Like, here's the guidance. Stop doing that. Ask the angels for help. Oh my God. Thomas Aquinas. Oh my God. That just like unlocked him. I went to a Jesuit university, and I remember having a discussion about Thomas Aquinas, and I just remember the name being said so much in like a Socratic questioning circle or something, that I was just like, and then I'm just seeing this here. Any sort of pretense seems unworthy of angels. The decisions we make create self-imposed challenges, which are wonderful opportunities, right? Everybody is getting that karma. Everybody in the collective is being unified by like realizing that it's my own, any challenges that you perceive in this universe would have been of your own making. So if it's of your own making, then you also can go ahead and face it And when you go ahead and face it, you'll be spiritually growing and you'll be even better for it. But you really need to recognize that. But you do have to, but because otherwise you will just continue to face the same challenge. Like, I just feel like that's what Spirit's saying, is like, that this is the medicine, bro. This has been a powerful, incredible hour. I don't care if this takes 6 hours to upload like the last one did. Like, the messages are coming live to the airwaves, and like, I'm just sitting here saying like, yes, I guess I'm ready to just feel like myself and be embraced for it. Yes. Okay, Spirit. Like, I am here to do that and process that through my throat chakra, because like, I don't really care, because I feel like the only things and people and places and organisms that would resonate with this messaging are those who also intend for the same space that I do. So, more power to it, you know? But literally, be honest with yourself. Like, that's all I want to say. Like, be honest with your, like, we all see, like, what if I said you're fooling none of us? Like, we all see it, right? If you deceive yourself by pretending that everything is perfect, your goals become hazy, bro. That I'm telling you. I have been feeling like I want to pull my braids out one by one. Just because things have been going haywire for me. And it has been my biggest gripe has been that it feels like nobody around me is at all sharing the same sentiment. And that's frustrating as hell, because I am not somebody, like, I feel like many people are writing it off like, oh, she's just like going through it, like, I wonder what's up with her. You know what I mean? And it's literally not even on that. Like, it's like the collective energy right now. I'm like, why are y'all, that's what I feel like this energy is talking about. Like, how on earth did you get away with acting like we were all just hanging out for as long as you did? You know what I mean? Because who's hanging out right now? You know what I mean? Who? Like, who is hanging out right now? It's disgusting. Good thing I didn't. It's like all hot next to that candle. Oh shit. Yeah. What? Like, look at that. It's like weird. Okay, Spirit. Yeah. You bury your potential brilliance, which I also struggle with, because I am someone who very quickly, so my North Node is really about like center stage purified energy, like really taking up that space. So naturally, like, also whenever my higher self needs to communicate that that's like what we need to be on, like, I will look around and I just see that in everyone. So I'm always really also recognizing like potential brilliance, which can be like to my detriment, because I feel like if people don't want to live out that potential brilliance, like, do you see how if I'm sitting there like, I'm gonna be around you because of your potential brilliance, but you're not living it out, like, it's not activated, sis, now you're just wasting your time, like, move on, you know what I mean? But it's under layers of self-deception and illusion, and that's what I mean. Like, you can really just tell like how many like people who are just under a lot of layers of disillusionment. Like, that's what's awkward. Like, this weekend, bro, this solstice came in with the sun energy, because it was just like, I mean, are you like, what are you living under? Like, some of y'all really tried in the last cycle to make certain false premises like true for you, and that's, you made them true for you, but they're no less false. You know what I mean? Wow, I feel like someone needed to hear that. And so you defeat your quest for self-improvement. And I think that that's why a lot of that energy, there's that reconciliation, because we're needing to also be open to the fact that like some people are going to learn that lesson, and they're going to know like, all right, I'm going to start to try to reconcile this. I'm going to start to take these steps to like get to, I'm going to ask the angels for help, and I'm going to get to this next place where I am not actively unconscious even after I've been brought to consciousness about something. Does that make sense? So it's the kind of like, look, any pretense is just not worthy for the angels. Like, you've got to be honest. I don't know how, you can't really skirt around it. You know what I mean? Because you're going to have to ask the angels for help, but it's also like going to leave you on the note of like, you're going to have to ask for help, but we're going to have to acknowledge, like, you can't go around it. So the angels are ready to get you up out of this situation. They're ready to take you on, but you do have to face it because it's a challenge of your own making. There are no challenges in this universe. There's only us fumbling around trying to figure out the dance between all of our dimensional aspects, living out this expression. So it's a beautiful energy. Like, it's about to be a life-changing week, I can already tell. So I'm excited to get this out into the airwaves, but it is what it is. Yeah, this has been interesting. Yeah, bro, I don't know. Like, I just got a new toothpaste and I'm kind of in love with it. But anyways, okay, that's all. We're at the 1 hour mark later.